Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And heavyweight news and brief it is today, starting with the unified heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz Jr. being honoured by the WBO in Puerto Rico, with the sanctioning body presenting the Mexican-American a commemorative belt to recognise his win over Anthony Joshua. Ruiz Jr., who was presented the belt by former WBO champions Miguel Cotto and Ivan Calderon, stated that I battled a lot since I was a little kid to be world champion, and also with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of training. Many people think that I don't train hard enough, but I train very hard. I'm very happy making history for being the first Mexican heavyweight world champion. It's a dream I've always wanted since I was a child, and now I've achieved everything. I am still hungry though to have those belts with me. New Zealand heavyweight Junior Fa, who plans to be back in the ring in October in the United States, says he was forced to dig deep and deal with adversity in his fight at the weekend with Dominic Gwynn.
I think I showed some great character in that time that I got dropped in my fight. So in the fourth round I got floored quite early in the round too. Even though I got floored, I really was clear in that round and what I needed to do. So I made sure that I got up in my time. I got up, I showed the referee that I was there, and for the remainder of that fight I made things very difficult for him. I tried to dodge his punches, I made things very hard in the sense I kept on moving, I kept on tying him up. And then when that round ended, I was very excited for the next round because I knew that he was tired, and I was ready to beat him up from the outside and just basically keep things smart. And at the end of the fight I won with a very, very large points decision. So it was a one-sided fight with a minor hiccup in the middle. So what's next for me is that I'll have something in October. We'll definitely be in the States again. Not too sure about the other details. I just know I'll be good to go in October. So October, somewhere on the west side of America. And as for now, I'm just taking some time off, regrouping. And I know I'll be back stronger than ever come October. So by the time next week, I'll be good to go in training. And yeah, I'm just very excited for the future.
Meanwhile, the undefeated Hemi The Heat who also trains out of City Kickboxing Gym in Auckland, New Zealand with Junior Fa, will face a fellow undefeated fighter, Ali Qaiden, on the Amir Khan card next week in Saudi Arabia. Steve Tupper of On2 Sports Management, which represents the 14-0 Ahio, says Hemi will need to bring on some serious heat to melt down Iron Ali Qaiden. We consider this fight Hemi's biggest opportunity to really showcase his talent to the rest of the world. He says this is a very tough fight, as we will see two explosive fighters placing their undefeated records on the line, and it will be a great fight where both fighters not taking a backward step. We are confident of the preparation Hemi has had leading up to this with his training camp in Auckland under head trainers Doug Viney and Eugene Berryman from City Kickboxing. There is a great culture there with multiple champions in different combat codes, so that work ethic and ethos is very contagious. The 12-0 prospect Vladislav Rinku says he expects his next fight will be in October in Germany, with an opponent and venue still to be confirmed. The Ukrainian most recently fought Denis Baktov in June in South Africa, stopping the veteran fighter in 7 rounds. Rinku says he and his team were happy with the performance and he got some good rounds in the bag. Baktov, he says, is a tough guy. My respect to him for a good fight. The 24-year-old is currently in camp with Alexander Povetkin, where he will be for 2 weeks before going home for a short break. Rinku has previously been in camp with Povetkin before being part of the camp to prepare the Russian for his 2018 fight with Anthony Joshua. American contender Bryant Jennings believes he will be able to exploit defensive weaknesses that Joe Joyce has when the pair meet on the Daniel Dubois and Nathan Gorman undercard on July 13. The former title challenger Jennings says he's gonna have shots coming right back at him, and the last time I checked, his defense is not as good. He can catch every punch with his jaw. And just on whether he knows much about his opponent, Jennings states, I was aware of him. I'm aware of everyone in my division, or at least at a certain level. Once you get to a certain level, I know who you are. I may have seen you. He is somebody I was aware of and made aware of based on noise he was making on Twitter and stuff like that, rather than in the actual boxing ring. Jennings also doesn't believe his recent loss to Oscar Rivas has any bearing on this fight, saying, personally, that was just an obstacle that I understood I had to get over. It was a failed mission. I didn't necessarily fail the plan. A lot of these guys had hundreds of amateur fights and they lost plenty of them. There was that way of gaining experience and gaining something from those losses they had. So when I lost, it was just a case of putting it behind me. Done deal. Was I going to sit there and cry about it or get up and move on? That is what I chose to do, get up and move on. The fight with Rivas does nothing to me mentally, but in the boxing game, it knocks you down and you lose position. Here it is also, people still love me and I'm still that guy. I can live with myself, I'm good. The Polish heavyweight Azua Gono will return to the ring this weekend for his first fight of 2019 in an all-Polish affair against the unbeaten prospect Lukasz Rozanski. The 32-year-old has only been in one fight since his sole loss to Dominic Breazeale more than 2 years ago, and that one fight saw his opponent retire after 2 rounds. His activity in the division has also been influenced by tragic circumstances, with his trainer dying in a house fire weeks before a scheduled fight late last year. Gono, he is an exciting fighter with vicious body punching, good power puncher, so it's good to see him back. Prospect Jermaine Franklin says he's ready to show what he can do when he faces Jerry Forrest on Showtime on July 13. Franklin was involved in a very back-and-forth affair with Rydell Booker earlier this year, winning the fight but not necessarily really impressing. The 18-0 Franklin says, I learned a lot more self-control and patience in that fight. Boxing is a tough sport, and I think as a boxer sometimes we try too hard to go for the knockout. I learned to stay patient, be calm, fight my fight, not rush things. I've seen some tape on Forrest and I know he's left-handed and he throws a lot of looping punches. He'll be right in front of me to hit. He seems very flat-footed, so I'll use angles against him, but I feel like I don't need a certain opponent to look good against. I took myself out of my last fight. I didn't show what I can do. I'll be more aware and focused this time. I've developed to another stage since then. I picture a knockout. I'm not going to rush anything. I'm just going to fight my fight, but I feel I can get the KO if I stay calm. It'll come. It's inevitable. And Jerry Forrest, meanwhile, he says, it's kind of the first chance for people to see what I've already been doing for years. The only difference is the cameras. It'll still be my fight, just the world gets to see it. I can't wait to show on a national scale what I'm capable of. I'm going to outbox him until I stop him. He can't outbox me. I don't think he has the skills, power, stamina, accuracy, or boxing IQ to stand with me. It's not a real planned style of his. I don't think he thinks much in the ring. If you're in better shape as a heavyweight, you'll win the fight. I'm sure he's training a bit harder, but he didn't take his last fight seriously and he got hit with a lot of flush shots. I'm a power puncher. I have 19 KOs and a lot of them are in the early rounds. I'm good at seeing punches and being able to avoid them. I'm also very adaptive in the ring, and even though he's taller, his reach is shorter than mine. A lot of guys get thrown up really fast and they're not ready for it. This is one of those cases. I will stop him. Jerry Forrest statements. And the unbeaten Christopher Lovejoy, one of boxing's serial protagonists on social media, is claiming on social media that his next fight will be against the rising prospect Filip Hrgović in late August. There is no official confirmation of this matchup. But given that Lovejoy likes to talk up how good he is, even though there's not a lot of film floating around on him, I think many fans, including myself, are interested to see this guy in a proper fight on TV to see what does this guy actually have. So if it does get made, I'm a little bit interested just because I don't know how good Christopher Lovejoy is. But he's claiming it's made. We'll wait and see what happens. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.